All right, are you ready, Frank? Let's shoot from the hip. I got this. Ready?
Cool.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Schmoedown Rundown. Introducing first, Frank Janisch, and the host of the Schmoedown Rundown, Gilmore.
What's up, Movie Trivia Schmoedown fans? Welcome to the Schmoedown Rundown, the official after show for the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. I am Brad Gilmore, who has a freshly shaven face, and I am joined by the man over there in Chicago, Illinois, Frank Janisch. Frank, what's up, man?
Oh, I'm pretty excited for this show. I'm pretty excited. We had some interesting matches, but I was looking forward to this week. I really was. This show. I'm looking forward to it.
What is that? I feel like you're trying to sell me on something, and I don't know what it is. I don't enjoy it.
No,
I feel like I'm being sold a dream here, Janisch. I don't know what you're referring to.
I'm just trying to not let. I'm pretty tired, Brad. I'm pretty tired right now. Okay.
Well, you know what? Let's hope.
I was trying to get through it. I was trying to get through it, and now you just brought me down. So okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Well, you know, let's hope we get through this show a little bit better than we did last week. You had a lot of momentary lapses in brain functionality.
That's right. That's right. You know what? And once again, I've run a 5K 27 days in a row now. So.
Oh yeah. What do you want? What do you want? A medal?
Could I have a medal? That'd be nice.
Look, I brought something to show you, Frank. In 2016, something really special happened, right? So a certain team won the World Series in 2016, right?
Yes, I know.
Who won the World Series in 2016?
I believe it was the Chicago Cubs.
Right. And are you a Cubs or a White Sox guy?
I'm a White Sox fan.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It doesn't mean I root against the Cubs. I don't care what they do up there on the side of town.
Wait,
so.
Well, okay. Yeah, it's the same city. But, and then 2017, the White Sox didn't fare much better because the World Series champions that year, I believe, were the Houston Astros.
Cool.
Houston, of course, is a city that I inhabit.
2005, the White Sox did beat the Houston Astros for the World Series title in that year. So there's connections there.
But, that's 2005, but I would like to say something. The Astros were the first team ever in the history of the Major League Baseball to win both the National League Championship Series and the American League Championship Series. And I just wanted to show you that I did pick up a little gift, a little commemorative. There we go. Look at that. Get a shot of that.
Wow.
A little commemorative
replica. I saw this on your Instagram, story. I was like, wow, really? He's not even on the team.
Yeah. No, this is so they handed these out at the game. If you went, you got these at the game.
Are they plastic?
And I just wanted to no, they're metal. They're metal.
Yeah?
They're very heavy. I'm sure this is at least an ounce and a half. These are not the reasons people are watching the Schmoedown Rundown, but I had to go through it. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming back and
let me get my World
show.
Series stuff real quick. Hold on, I'll be right back.
All right, go run, and we'll
I also
wait
got
for
Stanley Cup stuff too. So.
We'll wait for 13 years, and hopefully you'll be back here soon. Anyway, to discuss this show this week, I'm sorry, we're already off the rails.
4-0 in 2000. I'm just saying.
Okay, all right, that's great. We're all impressed. I wanted to say something. We're talking about champions, and I brought this up for a reason. To start the show off, I want to do it a little different. We're talking about, World Series champions. We can talk about the Bulls and the Rockets. They both won championships around the same time for the last time. I think the Bulls more recently, obviously, than the Rockets, but in the same time frame. Yeah, I wanted to do something, and Chris, I wanted you to join in on this as well. I wanted to throw a question out. We're past Collision now. Sam Levine has relinquished both championships. I want to know, if y'all had to make a prediction right now, by the end of Spectacular, who are going to be all 4 champions in the Movie Trivia Schmoedown? I want predictions from each of you, and I'm going to go to Frank first.
All right, well, Star Wars is easy.
You think Alex Damon holds on to
it? Oh, yeah. Alex Damon. Inner Geekdom? Shit.
It's difficult.
Fudge. All right, I'm gonna. I hate this. I'm gonna say Inman still.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate it. I hate saying it, but I. Teams is a bit unfair because we don't know. Due to anarchy, we don't know what teams are going to be there, so we can't really say.
But maybe go instead of saying just a team, which player? It doesn't really matter the team. Just do you see a particular player faring well?
That's hard to say because you're relying then on their other teammate, and therefore you know that would be the team. So I would think if Drew's team, I think would obviously have to go pretty far. I think JTE's team, if he's in it, would go pretty far. I mean, look at what he did with Finstock in 2015. He carried him all the way to a damn championship match against the Schmoes. So I'm not going to put anything past JTE. I give him a lot of credit for carrying Finstock. And then I mean Roca on it, Dan Merle. I mean those any of the horsemen.
Well, okay, go to singles. Go to singles.
Go to singles. Bibiani. I've said Bibiani's going to win the title. And
thank you.
I think but at the end of Spectacular is gonna be interesting though because we will have gone through a singles tournament, which Merle could very well be in. Roca. Oh, damn, the end of Spectacular. Then shoot. You know what? Why not? If Merle's in the singles tournament, I'm gonna say he wins it back at Spectacular Merle singles.
Okay.
It'll be a fitting way to end the year after starting his 2018 campaign, losing to Andrew Guy, and then for him to win the title would be pretty crazy. So I'm gonna go with that. Yeah.
Okay, hey Chris, give me your quick take. Who do you think is the champions? Who are the champions rather at the end of Spectacular?
Inner Geekdom, I actually think Adam has this over Inman. I think Adam is gonna go the distance. I have a feeling. I just feel like it's his year for Star Wars. I'm with Frank. I don't think Alex is leaving anytime soon just because of the base of his knowledge. It just seems objective at that point. Teams, obviously, like I would have wished it was critically acclaimed, but they're going to be broken up for the tournament. Any team, as Frank said, with McQueenie, with Bibiani, with Whitney, with even Rachel, like there's a lot that you can go on. But I think my money is that the team belt and the singles belt are still going to be held by Bibbs. So I think Bibbs. I think Bibbs is going to be the comeback player this year, and I'm still optimistic about that. That's not biased. I actually think there's a lot of ground for that because of how well Critically Acclaimed has done this year and how well Bibbs has done this year. So I actually feel like Bibbs is going to hold both belts, non-bias included. I
do think he will end up with the title before the tournament. After Spectacular, I don't know. That's another story.
I don't know. I mean, if it's Merle versus Bibbs, I mean, there's a lot of. That's hard to but my money is gonna be on Bibbs.
Sure.
So yeah.
All right, now allow me for my predictions here. Inner Geekdom. Rachel Cushing will be the champion, most definitely. Now, are we sure about the team? No, is the team tournament to declare the champions? Has that been announced?
They will play the winner of, Shire Wolves World's Finest. Well, that's the number.
I guess they're the
match.
number one contender.
Yeah, so, whatever.
So so we'll figure it out some way. But
the Patreon match did happen. I don't want to say anything any further than this because for those who have not seen the Patreon match that dropped yesterday, if you're watching this on Saturday. That explains more what happens with the title picture, so we can't really get too much into that.
All right, well, let's
just. Stuff.
But we do know World's Finest and the Shire Wolves is some sort of number one contender match, right, for the title. Yeah. So okay, so Rachel Cushing's gonna be the Inner Geekdom champion. Shire Wolves will be the team champions. I'm gonna go with Ken Knapsack will regain the Star Wars championship in a hellacious contender series to get there, and then he's going to win by 1 point. That's my prediction. That's my prop bet there. And y'all are about to kill me. Oh my God, y'all are about to kill me. And the singles champion after Spectacular will be none other than my guy, Rachel, Andrew Guy.
Rachel Guy.
Rachel Cushing.
Rachel
you're right.
Guy. Rachel Guy
Rachel
will be no. Andrew Guy will be the singles champion. He said he has that short, steep hill. We know what he's referring to. Let's see if he can cook under the lights. And I'm going to say Andrew Guy is going to be the singles champion because you know what? Not just because I want to see it, not because he beat Dan Murrell, the greatest of all time, because Andrew Guy as the singles champion is the best thing for the movie Trivia Schmoedown.
I would not disagree. However, with Andrew Guy being the champion at the end of Spectacular, that's what you're saying, right?
Right.
So that would mean he would either
He's
have
got to defend.
lose-
He's got to win it and then maybe defend it twice.
Right, so either he loses against Riley, enters the singles tournament, wins that, and then wins it at Spectacular, or he beats Riley, then plays Bibiani and Draco or Ethan Irwin for the title before the tournament, and then he faces the tournament winner at Spectacular and defends it. Those are some crazy scenarios he's got to get through. But if he can do it,
man.
shit.
Look, man, you gotta go bold sometimes with these predictions,
Sure.
Frank Janisch, because if my predictions come true, I look like a genius.
Yep.
I look like
Otherwise,
a
you
genius.
just look like Brad. So it's
110%.
I don't like either one of you. I don't know why I continue to do this on a weekly basis and torture myself. But anyway, I just wanted to have a little fun there at the top of the show and see where we thought things would stack out. Now, when we talk about Rachel Cushing and we talk about Inner Geekdom, we had 2 Inner Geekdom matches this week, and I thought that it would probably be a good time right now. Let's just get into it. The first match of the week was, and I don't want to be unfair here. I don't want to be unfair to Emma Fyffe, but I felt the first match of the week, I felt like it was a mismatch. And I'm probably speaking out of turn, and I'm maybe being a little bit of a prisoner of the moment after Mark Knopic's debut was so impressive and so decisive that there was already dream match scenarios being thrown out there. There was already Rookie of the Year monikers being thrown out there for her. And it could be that we're just a prisoner of the moment and we know who she's affiliated with, so we expect big things. But I don't know, Frank. Am I out of touch for saying that Emma Fyffe and Mark Knopic was a bit of a mismatch?
I think so a little bit. I think people. I said this right after Mara's debut that people were overhyping her and anointing her so prematurely that she's the next best thing. I agree that she has tremendous potential, that she's going to be a force to reckon with. But to say that she's going to roll through this tournament or all the things people were saying, I was not going there. So you could if you had that perspective and then look at her matching up with Emma, sure, you could say it's a lopsided match, but I think Emma has a pretty good broad base of knowledge in the Inner Geekdom, and she definitely has her strong points like Harry Potter, and to an extent Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth, and all that. And Mara is I think her knowledge base is much more deep, but just as vast. So while I still favored Mara, I didn't think it was such a complete mismatch. If that makes sense.
No, I mean, I get it. And like I said, I could be the prisoner of the moment, or Mark Knopic could pan out like a LeBron James. All this hype coming into the league, and then ends up being one of the greatest players of all time. We don't know at this point. It's way too early, even after her second match, which, of course, if you're watching this, she was victorious, and we're about to break it down. But I just felt that Mark Knopic had so much momentum and so much steam going into this match that, and like you said, Emma's got a good broad base. And I feel like for some reason, maybe because she was just playing the backstage interviewer role and then she played the manager role, that we don't look at her and give her probably just due as a player, because she won it spectacular, right, in the manager bowl. She's had victories before. So I think we might be, or at least I might be, not giving her just due, because you're right. When it comes to Harry Potter, she's got it on lock 9 times out of 10. She's going to do well in that category. There's certain other things where she's going to know what's going on. So I thought, though, that the storyline here, because that's what I like to look at, Frank. I like to look at the story. When I saw this match on paper, I was like, okay, what's the best story coming out of this match? And I thought the best for story purposes, although the match is going to be what it's going to be, I'm just thinking ahead here, the best for story purposes was Mara Knopic to win. Because
Absolutely.
if Mara wins, you know, maybe we get a little bit closer to a match that we talked about here in our live analysis of the collision, which we're going to get to. So I thought that this was going to be the way things shook out, and I thought that it was going to be interesting to see how things played out. And here's the thing: so when we get into it, the first round was a little bit more competitive than I expected it to be. Wasn't there? I don't know if you have your stats in front of you. If you can pull those up, what was the score at the end of round one?
6-5 in favor of Emma.
Yeah, 6-5 in favor of Emma. Yeah. So already I'm being proven wrong, and I'll be honest, Frank. When I was watching this, I got a little tense. I got a little tight because I was like, oh man, I remember I'm putting Mark Knopic over like $1 million. I'm strapping the rocket on her. I'm sending her straight to the moon. And now Emma Fyffe, a person who I have not given her full credit to, is winning after round number one, even though by 1 point, winning's winning. Vin Diesel once said that if it doesn't matter if it's an inch or a mile, right, Frank? So what did you think after round number one with Mara and Emma?
I don't want to say that I saw this coming, but I wasn't sure that it was going to be a complete blowout in the first round. I didn't think that at all. I thought it was going to be tight. I still thought Mara would be like ahead, but I still thought it was going to be close. It was just reversed, and I thought Mara might venture like 7 points maybe, but she got 5 here, so that's kind of a dip from what she's been playing at, or a dip from her first match rather. So it's not that surprising to see that it's close, but I think if you were sleeping on Emma, then you are surprised. But if you look at everything Emma has done so far in the Inner Geekdom, it's really not that surprising that she can, 6 points is about the average in the Inner Geekdom to begin with. So she's right there. And then Mara was playing a little bit above in her first match, and now she kind of came back down to earth here in the first round.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Frank, right now. You're coming off a little bit like Skip Bayless. And Skip Bayless, when he talks about LeBron James, it's like, yeah, she did all right, her first go-around. But, I mean, come on, she just probably got lucky there. And, you never want to give people who deserve credit their credit. That first round, man, that first Mara Knopic match, she layeth the smacketh down in her geekdom. And now, 1 point differential going into round two, you're saying, I told you so. Come on, Skip. Come on, Skip.
All right, let me ask you.
Come on, Skip.
I'm going to ask you one question real quick. Marchi has now played 2 matches.
Right.
And she is averaging...
Give her a title match.
Her accuracy through 2 matches is 65%. Look at Mark Donica. Through his first 2 matches, his accuracy was 70%. Now, much more praise was heaped on Mara than Mark Donica, if I remember correctly. And now that may be a little bit skewed in my memory, but as far as I can remember, I feel like Mara got a lot more hype after her first match than Mark Donica did after 2, and his accuracy rate is higher than Mara's after 2 when you compare their first 2 matches. Now, it's not an exact science because they didn't answer the exact same questions, they were in the exact same situations, but Mark Donica performed better in his first 2 matches than Mara has. So all I'm saying is, I'm not saying Mara is not a good player, a great player, or can be a great player. I'm just saying it was 1 match, people. Come on.
Well, okay, hold on now, Skip. Hold on, Skip. I'm going to start calling you Skip on this show when we're talking about Mara. Because, World's Finest, who's got their number 1 contender match, they win 2 matches, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, World's Finest. Strap the rocket on them, brother. Put them over in the main event,
I said they're
brother.
Deceptive. I said they're deceptive. I'm not proclaiming them the greatest team in the league. There's a difference.
No, I'm not saying that Mara's the greatest player in the league, but I'm saying, she could pan out to be. There's some people who you can peg early on and know what's going to happen, right? Just to go back to the examples, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant. You could see these guys from 40 miles away, right? And then when you had certain players come in to the league. Like, as soon as we saw William Bibbiani, all right, he's going to be special. As soon as we see certain other guys who come around or certain teams get together, like Shire Wolves, we know they're going to be something. Rachel Cushing, another person who comes in the league, we know she's going to be something. You can spot them. You can earmark them right from their first match. You can see that. You can see that. So why you refuse, for some reason, to have this? You have some bias against Mara Knopic.
Because I've learned from the past.
What does that mean?
Proclaimed Bibbiani has not got a title. Everyone very high in Rachel has not held a title. Great players, yes, but they have not attained the ultimate goal. And
but
so,
you're also talking though about players.
I'm tempering my expectations.
Okay, but then you're referring to players who have competed at a championship level, right? We've seen Rachel Cushing have shots at championships before. Yeah. She's had that opportunity. Bibbs is getting that opportunity. These are championship caliber players. Just because LeBron goes to the finals and loses doesn't mean he's not a championship caliber athlete. Doesn't mean he's not one of the greatest players in the game. Just because James and CP3 came up one game short in the Western Conference Finals doesn't mean they're not an elite team. Doesn't mean Rocket are the team to beat this upcoming season. It does not mean that. So just don't throw them away here.
I don't understand how we're having this conversation after someone's only played 2 matches. When we talk about Bibbiani and Rachel, they've played several dozen matches, not dozens matches, but they've played a lot more matches than 2, and they have a history. Mara, I just don't understand how we're having this kind of conversation when she's only had 2 matches. Let's have some time to build a resume.
No, and I understand that. I'm not saying don't give her time to build a resume, but I'm saying that some players, you can earmark them from their very first match, just like we did Bibbiani, just like we did Rachel. When we first saw them in the league, we said these are going to be people to watch. Bibbiani did he get a perfect round in his first game, or he got or he set the all-time points record, something like that? Rachel Cushing, we knew she was going to be a beast. She was going to be a monster. She was going to crush as soon as we saw her for the first time. And that's what I'm saying about Mara. For some reason, I don't know if you're just kind of like that kid who'd go to summer camp. Everybody else would just do the cannonball
Mara has great potential in this league. Have I not? How is that being disparaging towards Mara? Because you're
like, oh, people are giving her too much credit. People are just giving her the moon. Right after 2 matches, people are giving her all this credit. Like I said, Janisch, you're the kid at summer camp. When all the other kids went and did a cannonball in the deep end, you would put one toe on that first step in the shallow end. It'd be a little cold, so you'd wait a second. And then when you saw all your friends having fun and you saw that it was all nice and safe and good to go in, then you'd walk your ass down the steps into the shallow end and eventually make your way in the deep end and join everybody else and participate in the activity that everybody else knew was safe all along. Mara Knopic is a safe bet. She is a safe bet. She's better than gold right now. All right.
Who do you have winning the Inner Geekdom title this year then?
Rachel Cushing.
Okay.
But hey, it's all about timing. It's all about timing.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's all about timing. Mark Knopic's going to hold gold. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. But it's just all about timing.
Not this year.
No, she could. Here's the thing. I have Rachel Cushing. I have Rachel Cushing being Inner Geekdom champion at the end of the Spectacular.
Okay.
That does not mean she wins this tournament.
Oh, so you're saying that Mara's going to beat Rachel is what you're saying?
I'm saying it's possible.
Okay. I think it's possible too.
She's got the ability to.
Yeah.
She's got the ability, Frank. So just, you know what? Give her a break. Let Mara Knopic go out there and cook.
Okay.
God, you're such a hater, Skip. Also, before we move on to round 2.
I think people listening know exactly where I stand, and they know that it's a reasonable stance. I'm not so far in left field where I'm like, well, Mara, I don't know.
Well,
That's
I mean,
not what I'm saying.
like I said, you want to give World's Finest, give them a title shot. They won 2 in a row.
Pull up the tape and show me where I said that.
You said
I'll give you
Janisch,
2 weeks to find it.
You know it. You know it, Janisch. You know it. Look at that. Look at that. Any White Sox fan would lie on air. I'm just saying, man. I'm throwing that out there. All right.
God,
anyway,
moving on.
Moving on, Janisch.
Yeah.
Moving on. I want to, before we get into round 2, give another special shout out Jay Washington on the commentary.
Yes.
What did you think of Jay on commentary? Well, Christian.
It was great. It was a welcome sight. I was not expecting to see Jay there. Then again, I wasn't expecting to see Bibiani when he showed up. But I liked how him and Christian went back and forth. It wasn't. It seemed like Jay, was given the opportunity and seized it. And I thought he did a really great job there, especially in the Inner Geekdom. So maybe he'll call other matches in other leagues, and that'll be fun as well.
Yeah, we hadn't seen Jay before, right? On the commentary. This is the first. Okay, I thought it was. I just wanted to make sure. I thought he did a hell of a job. It's I don't think that it's. People might think that it's an easier job than it is.
Yeah.
But you're doing a lot of work up there, not just with the question reading, but I think almost as big as being able to moderate the game and read the questions are the quips in between rounds and in between questions. That has become a staple of the rhythm and the vibe of the Movie Trivia Schmoedown, whether it be between Ken and Mark or, Mark and Christian or Bibiani and whomever, right? I think that you have to be able to have that quick wit and that, quick on your feet ability and memory and mind to work that fast and come up with jokes off the questions. And sometimes they're going to be misses, right? Sometimes people are going to be like, oh, that was...
It's
so
improv, basically.
But but you have to be able to entertain from that aspect, because if you just read the question and you stay silent, the vibe of the game gets thrown off. Part of the game is that it's light and fun, and the commentators do a great job of keeping it light and fun, and that's why I thought Jay Washington was very effective in the role. Was he the most polished presenter that we've seen as far as the questions go and the commentary goes? No, but who is the first time out?
Right.
I think that if we give Jay some more time, especially in Inner Geekdom, like a division that we know that he has a proclivity to, and he enjoys playing in that division, I think he's going to be like a mainstay. He might have to give up the Viper squad, which wouldn't be the worst thing that he's ever done, by the way. And I think that he might be just a did I just cause some heat there? But I think he might be a mainstay at the desk if he chooses to be.
I liken it to when we first saw Bibiani. And then after his first appearance at the desk, he came back. He seemed to find a groove and find where he likes to operate, a zone he likes to operate in. And I think if we see Jay again, I'm sure he'll have a better feel for the desk, the situation, and so I think it only get better from. I think everyone who's ever showed up at the desk multiple times has always gotten better. And sure, there can be off days, and sometimes, and again, it's kind of subjective if you don't like someone's quip or joke. Mark Ellis, he throws zingers out all the time, and it might not be your flavor, but, I found it funny, but it just, so I think it all depends on personal preference, but overall, I think Jay did a great job, and I would love to see him back at the desk, absolutely.
Yeah, no, 100%. So let's get into round number 2, Frank. You got your stats up there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the wheels. Walk us through round numero dos.
So Emma, she defers because she has a 1-point lead, and Mara spins MCU. She ends up going 4 of 5 there, and gets 2, 4, 6, 7 points, and not a bad round. And Emma had a shot at 1 steal, didn't come through, which could have been important. However,
which question was that?
That was on the second MCU question, which I don't have the question list up here.
Okay, no, it's all good.
And then after that, Mara, she ends up spending. Fyffe, she spins away from DCEU, lands on Marvel, which I think if you're not super deep into comic book movies, Marvel can be kind of a rough one, because of the MCU and how much it's overtaken, the pop culture. You're really ingrained into it. Marvel, you forget all these other kind of movies that came before the MCU. So, and I think that's where Emma kind of got tripped up. She only got 1 out of 5, and Mara ended up capitalizing on 3 of the of Emma's misses, and that pretty much sealed the deal more or less. But it's great to see that Mara was able to go into another category and do fairly well. She got 3 out of 4 steal opportunities, which is a really nice get. So that's another
great.
category. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
more
that's
than
another
really nice,
category.
Skip. Say it's great, Skip. Say it's great, Skip.
So she dips into another category, and that's important because future competitors, i.e. Rachel, can look at this and say, all right, well, Marvel is something that she's pretty good in, and in the first round she got her Marvel question right, so she's very versed in pre-MCU.
Now, when Emma Fyffe spun away from DCEU, I thought that this was and is a bad move by a lot of players.
Potentially.
Right.
Well, for certain reasons, I think yes.
Right, so let me lay it out for you. Now, the MCU, I've lost count now about how many films, but it's somewhere between
Like
12
19?
and 15. Or
No, it's
okay,
like
maybe it's
9,
more. It's
yeah.
like 19, right? Okay.
Chris, do you know the number? Do you know the number for MCU movies? Is it like 19?
I think it's either 18 or 19.
Yeah,
I
something
will
like
double
that.
check. I will put the number on screen right now with the Wikipedia page.
All right.
Wow,
well,
look
I
at that.
appreciate it.
Who was right? Who was close? I don't know. We don't know yet. That's post.
But anyway, so there's nearly, let's say, 20 films. Let's just say there's almost 20 films. All right. Now, with the DCEU, there's a fourth. There's 25% of that, right? There's Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, and Justice League, right?
Yeah.
There's 5. There's 5 films. All you got to know is 5 films?
Yeah.
5 movies. That's all you got to know. There's only so many questions you can get from 5 movies. Remember, this is the old Quentin Tarantino argument I used to make when I first came on the show was you got 8 films. I mean, come on now.
The difference is you want to watch Quentin Tarantino films. You
Do
might
you?
not want to watch the DCEU
Have you
films
seen The Hateful
more
Eight?
than Will. Yeah, and I liked it.
Mm.
That's my point is, it's like, okay, 1 out of his 8 you don't like, okay.
What
But
was
still,
the Grindhouse film that he did? There was the one he did with Robert Rodriguez. Was it
yes.
Death Proof or whatever?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to watch Death Proof? I'm just saying. But I understand your point. But still, these people, these players in Inner Geekdom have to watch a bunch of movies that they don't like. Do you think that Rachel Cushing liked
should,
watching watching Catwoman?
Sure.
Absolutely not, right? When we heard about that too this week. So, Man of Steel, though, not a bad movie. We like Man of Steel, right?
That's actually my favorite of them. Yeah.
I think the ultimate cut of BVS is pretty good. If you watch the 3-hour version, it's pretty good, right?
Not bad.
Not so bad. Suicide Squad, I think, gets unnecessary hate. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I've actually haven't seen it.
You'll be pleasantly surprised.
Maybe.
And come on now, Homegirl's in it. You know, Harley Quinn. She did fantastic. What's
Margot
her name?
Robbie.
Margot Robbie, of course. Did great.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. Come on, man. Wonder Woman.
Actually, that's a really great movie.
Great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Gal
two great
Gadot.
movies.
Wonder Woman. And then there's Justice League. It's under 2 hours. You can get through it. Okay? So I'm saying this is a much, much, much better category to go with if you've at least seen the films once than I think an MCU or a Marvel movies category would be. It's a better category to go with because you have a smaller sample size. That means there's only more of a limited amount of questions, and I think that you can reason your way through them, especially with multiple choice. We saw Emma go through multiple choice here on this thing. We saw her take shots in the dark in this category of Marvel movies. I think she would have been much better with DCEU. I think most people say, oh, DCEU, yeah, those movies suck. Oh, I'm going to spin away. When strategically, not a good move. Just not a good move. I know that you've at least seen all of these movies once because you were all curious. And, you know, you're going to retain information from them. So I think that it's just a bad spin. It's a bad spin away. Respin.
I don't necessarily disagree 100% with that. I agree in a large part with it. However, you look at the situation she was in at that point, and I think she's going for Harry Potter, and I feel like she felt like that's what's going to win her the match. She gets anything else, it's not going to be enough to put her over the top to get into the third round, and to, she could have possibly even came out with a lead after the second round if she got Harry Potter and runs the table. So she's one of the players who has a specific strength that if she hits it, good things can happen for her, and I think that's what she was probably really banking on. I don't disagree with the whole with DCEU because of the small filmography in that universe. However, you would have to have really watched a lot of those movies probably fairly recently, because DCEU is one of the categories that's been asked a lot in this league. So they will get deeper, and it will get deeper faster because there is a handful of films, unlike the MCU where there's, again, like we said, like 20 films now, where it won't get as deep as quick as, say, the DCU might. So that level of might be faster than most other categories that have more movies like Harry Potter or even Lord of the Rings, right? So,
but I mean, Lord of the Rings got what, 6? You got 6 movies. Harry Potter, you got 8 movies. I mean, they're not that much more. And we've heard about players going and researching it, and I think you've said it yourself that the inner geekdom is a learnable category, is a researchable category, and you could probably do fairly well if you just study up. And DCEU, like I said, 5 films, man, 5 films. That's all I'm saying.
Like I said, I don't 100%. Like I said, I don't 100% disagree. I'm just saying, if she's not comfortable in her knowledge with DCU, well, then you're just going to spin away, and hopefully you get your strength, Harry Potter, and that's where I'm basically leaning on. That was her thought process.
All right, Skeel. Let's move on to round number 3 here. Round number 3 in 17-9. And I know when we had Emma Fyffe on the show all those months ago here on this show, her and I bonded. We bonded over Bond, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I enjoyed that she was a James Bond fan, and I thought that earned her a lot of points. Well, I'm here to tell you right now, Emma Fyffe, I'm looking in the camera at you right now. Hopefully you see this. I'm speaking to you. As much as we bonded over Bond, as much as we did, we both like Connery, we both like Goldfinger, as much as that happened, I think that our potential for being best friends has gone out the window. Why, you might ask, Emma Fyffe, if you're watching this right now, or why, you might ask if you're listening to this, why would Brad Gilmore have beef with Emma Fyffe? Why would that happen? I have 2 words for everyone out there. Earth Angel. Come on, Emma Fyffe. Earth Angel. Harry Waters Jr. 500,000 copies sold. RIAA certified gold. You saw it not in 1 movie, but 2. The Enchantment Under the Sea Dance. Earth Angel. Earth Angel. Earth Angel. Will you be mine? My darling dear. Loved you all the time. I'm just a fool in love with you. How do you not remember that? Come on, Emma Fyffe. Frank Janisch, you're a Back to the Future fan. You're a pinhead over there. Tell me that you weren't upset that she didn't remember. You're an inner geekdom. You don't remember Earth Angel?
I was a little...
Come on!
I was a little disappointed in that one because it's so, like... I can't help but start off with Earth Angel, like... Bring, like... It's just...
Whoa, whoa.
Here's some numbers on Back to the Future, though, real quick. The entire Inner Geekdom League is 11 of 20.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
We're talking barely over 50%?
Yeah, we're at 55%.
Oh, man, brother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Brother.
We're not even counting Roka's mistakes.
And that's only 3 films.
That's only 3 movies.
Yeah.
Y'all can't get 3 iconic movies down? Come on now. That's that. You know what? The entire Inner Geekdom should be ashamed of themselves. They should be absolutely ashamed of themselves for not answering at least 70% in Back to the Future. That's a really interesting stat, Janisch. It's going to be even more interesting when I kick your ass in our Back to the Future Schmoedown Rundown or Rundown Schmoedown, whatever it's called, because it's gonna happen. You know it's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
It's just the match will happen. Yes, the outcome.
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting on the clock to strike, man. The clock's gonna strike, Janisch. It's gonna strike down upon thee with great vengeance. I'm just saying. Now, can you dig that? But Emma Fyffe ends up losing 17-9 to Mark Knopic. A pretty secured win there by Mark Knopic, even though a little shaky start there in the beginning. 6-5 round 1, ends up 17-9 after round number 3. Very, very impressive there by Mark Knopic. Anything that you want to say, Janisch, now that she walked out 17-9 against Emma Fyffe, 2-0?
I just want to say that this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th match in a row that's been decided by KO or TKO.
Wow, that's another
9 in a row.
interesting stat.
9 in a row, KO or TKO.
What do you think we attribute that to?
I really don't know.
I don't know
really
either.
Don't.
That's
I
very
really
interesting.
don't.
That's very interesting. Well, let's talk about real quick though the aftermath of this match.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the aforementioned, the person I think is going to be Inner Geekdom and team champion at the end of the year, Rachel Cushing. She was there and she was congratulating Mark Knopic. Now, Janisch, you and I spoke to Rachel Cushing about Mark Knopic, and we said some people are saying that could be a dream match between y'all two. And you know what? She said, I'd love to play her, right?
Right.
They're talking. She's congratulating her, saying, so glad to have you in the league. It's awesome. Fyffe Club, I'm representing the Fyffe Club, but you're over there. We're in Inner Geekdom. We're kicking ass. We're taking names, whatever. Mike Kalinowski, though, rolls up. And I got to say, was he not great?
He pops out from that wall, and there's a lot of Schmoedown gifs out there. If that ain't a Schmoedown gif, then I don't know what is. I mean, that was goal, him just popping out, the smirk, and he strolls up. And
it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was great.
It was beautiful. And he kind of starts, messing with them a couple, just saying a couple lines here and there. Oh, yeah, you're both in Inner Geekdom. Congrats, Mark Knopic, Rachel Cushing. This is awesome. Who are y'all going to face in round number 3? Do y'all know? Oh, that's right. You're going to face each other in round number 3. And then they both kind of look at each other. They roll their eyes. They exit stage left. And Mike Kalinowski leaves there with a devilish grin as chaos continues with Mike Kalinowski. What'd you think, man?
He better be a little careful, because if he gets past Adam Hlavac, he will have to face one of them if he gets past Adam Hlavac. So
hold on. Repeat what you just said, Frank, about Adam Hlavac.
Mike should be a little more kind or be a little more cautious around those two, because if he gets past Adam Hlavac, he's going to have to face one of them. Whoever wins that match, So, I mean, I'm just saying.
I think that he wants that, though.
I mean, I definitely think he wants Rachel more than Mara. But
right,
either matchup he's gonna salivate over, but because it's gonna be a fun, chaotic time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you spoke about Adam Hlavac. Might as well transition to Adam Hlavac. Which, by the way, while we were saying his name, is it Lavich? Is it Hlavac? Is it Helvic? What is his name? Because Mark Ellis says it different than I do.
I just say Hlavac. I just kind of like mesh the H and the L. I don't know. Hlavac.
Yeah, I say Lavich. Hlavac. I don't know what the hell I say anymore.
Adam Hlavac. I try to rush it, so
Lavich.
you're not really sure if it's right or wrong.
Back in the day, at Reality Wrestling, when I was doing the ring announcing, there was a guy who came in for one show. His name was Kahagis, right? But it was spelled like Kahgijas. I mean, it was like a Frigga thing, right? I didn't know what the hell how to say it. So it's written on the sheet. So I didn't know exactly what his name was when I went out there, and I'm looking at the sheet when I'm about to announce him out. So I'm like, the NWA North American Champion, Kaho! Just rushed right past it. Just say something that sounds like syllables. So that's what I'm going to do with Adam. So we saw Adam Lavich versus Keaton Marchi. Keaton Marchi we saw a couple weeks ago. Not the greatest performance, not a bad performance. She did just enough to win. I saw her as another. I thought this was another mismatch in this tournament, and this might be all. Mike Kalinowski's doing when he looked at the bracketing here, right? He might have wanted certain people to advance. I go back to Survivor Series, 1998, the Deadly Games tournament, right? The winner would be the new World Wrestling Federation champion. And guess who put the brackets together? Old Vinnie Mac himself, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. He actually gave a bye in the first round to The Undertaker and Kane so they would face each other in the quarterfinals. He gave Mick Foley, Mankind, a couple of Joberts, right, in the first couple rounds so they would make sure he got to the finals. And then he gave The Rock some easy opponents so we would see The Rock in the semifinals, in the finals. I think Kalinowski is definitely playing with these marionettes and being quite the puppeteer because Emma Fyffe, Mark Knopic. If you didn't even see the match and you ask me who wins, I say Mark Knopic. Adam Lavich, Keaton Marchi. You ask me who wins, I say Adam Lavich. On paper, you can almost see where this goes, right?
Sure.
The only match, really, you couldn't see where it was going was Mark Donica and Mike Kalinowski.
Yeah.
There's an argument out there that Mike's given himself the harder road to the finals. I'm saying there's an argument out there.
It's not a an outlandish statement. I mean, there's definitely merit to it.
Yeah, it's not a hot take here.
I don't think so.
So I don't know. So what did you think? I don't really think this is going to be one we have to break down round by round because the final score was something ridiculous of which I don't have written down. But
18-4.
18-4. I believe she didn't get a second point until well into her second round.
The third, her third question in the second round.
Third question in her second round. She didn't even get didn't even get another point.
Yeah.
Adam Lavich we've seen before. Impressive guy.
He's gotten better. He's gotten better.
Yeah, you seem the last time we spoke about Adam Lavich, you seem rather high on him.
Yeah, I just think he's really locked in this. I thought in his 5-way against Mark Donica was a very close loss for him there. Beating Hector Navarro is no easy feat, and from there he improved upon that. And now in his round 2 match against Keaton Marchi, he had his best first round with 8 points. That's the best he's done. So as he's advanced, as he's had more matches in Inner Geekdom, he's slowly gotten better, and that's a good sign for things to come against when you head into your third round match against Mike Kalinowski, who's been on another level. He's on the same level as Rachel, just a rung below Rachel, but nonetheless, he's gonna need to really up his game in the third round. But it was stunning to see Keaton regress as much as she did here in this match. There's no way you could ever predicted this kind of drop off.
I mean, has it not been though and I don't want to come off as too harsh here, but has it not been a drop off every time we've seen her?
She improved against Rosie Knight from her debut. So
okay,
it was a slight increase, but there was a sign there that she learned from her first match and applied it to the match against Rosie Knight, and there was a tiny bit of an increase there, but nonetheless she performed better than last match. So I expected to see something similar, if not even a little bit better, but I did have Adam winning this one. You know, when you look at it on paper, I did, but I didn't think Keaton would have this kind of performance. I don't think anybody did.
Now, the thing though is, when we talk about matchups and how I thought these two might have been mismatches, the two Inner Geekdom matches we saw this week, Keaton Marchi was, though, correct me if I'm wrong, originally scheduled to go against Emma Fyffe.
Yeah.
Which I feel is a more apples-to-apples comparison. Sure. Right? I feel like, at least, if not apples-to-apples, at least like apples to pears. At least they're in the same family, right? I think that the fact that she was ready for Emma, prepared for Emma, studied in categories that she knew Emma would be strong in, and then all of a sudden she's getting Adam Lavich, I think that could probably attest for some of her lack thereof during this match. Wouldn't you say?
For the second round, I think that's true. First round, it doesn't matter who you're playing.
That's true.
You know? So, and...
But, she could have been thrown, though. I mean, think about this.
Perhaps.
You know, some of these fighters, right? I mean, I remember Conor McGregor. He was scheduled and ready to go against Rafael dos Anjos. He was ready to go, man. Him and RDA. I think it was Rafael dos Anjos. Or it was Junior dos Santos. One of the two. I can't remember. He was ready to go against one of them. One of them broke their foot, was out of the fight, and then he jumped up 2 weight classes and fought Nate Diaz at 7 days' notice. And he lost. Because he just wasn't prepared.
Sure.
He got thrown. He knew last second who he was going to fight, and he had to go out there and do his best, especially going up 2 weight classes. Keaton Marchi thought she was going to fight Emma. When she finds out she's not, she's thrown. She's off her game. Now she's trying to think ahead in a match with Adam Lavich, and she's not focused at the task at hand. She got in her head, and that's why she only scored 2 points into her 3rd question in the 2nd round. She was thrown. She was off her game. I think that she could recover. I think we could see a good Keaton Marchi performance before the end of the year in Inner Geekdom. But I got to say, she did not go out there and impress anyone with this performance.
No, it's an unfortunate way to end your tournament run. But again, I can forgive someone for having a bad second round because you get... Look, she got DCEU. We were just trying to make the argument that smaller catalog of films, you should be able to do it. She won multiple choice on 4 of the 5. She only got 2 points out of her 5 questions. And these are presumably the questions that Emma could have seen, right? So, because this is the match right after.
Right.
So she didn't do so well. Again, I think it goes back to how much have you seen the DCEU? How much do you pay attention? And it didn't seem like Keaton was very fond of DCEU to begin with, and I don't know that Emma is that much more fond of the DCEU. But it is what it is, okay? So the one thing that I look at that just really is concerning is her first round performance. She got her first question right, and then proceeded to miss the rest of the 9. That's not great. Although I will say this though, for Middle Earth, why do they call it Middle Earth? You're gonna know within the first couple of words whether it's from The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings. Just say Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. That's for one.
Well, also though, it's the same stuff.
I mean, pretty sure.
It's the same. It's J.R.R. Tolkien wrote all these things.
Yeah.
All these movies that I can't stand. So why not just say, in the Tolkien universe or, in the Lord of the Rings universe? I mean, don't they say Harry Potter universe for Fantastic Beasts questions?
Have we seen the Fantastic Beasts question?
I feel like we have. I feel like we have to.
I actually do not know if we have or haven't. Huh. Maybe we've
I think
seen
I recall
one.
one. I think I do recall one in the Harry Potter category, yeah.
Scalise. Weigh in, brother.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think that we have. So I don't know. I mean,
but it's not really Harry Potter, though. That's more the Wizarding World.
Wizarding World universe, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be on
I don't
Harry
know.
Potter, but yeah.
We're splitting hairs here.
Yeah, we are.
Plastic straws or paper? I don't know. I'm up in the air. But I think that Keaton Marchi has the ability to come back, and I'd like to see her at least one more time. If she gives a similar performance, maybe this just isn't for you. But I'd like to give her another shot. Adam Lavich, though.
Oh,
congrats
real quick,
to him.
I also wanted to say, in this match, though, we had I think it was like 2 questions that asked you for an actor's name. And I don't know if I really like those kinds of questions in the Inner Geekdom. Because you're talking about the stuff in these worlds, not necessarily who portrays them. I mean, I still think it's kind of a. I think it's still a fair question, sure, but I don't know if we need that many questions because I don't think we've seen more than. I mean, to see 2 questions require an answer of an actor's name, I thought was a bit off from all the other previous Inner Geekdom matches.
You know, that is an interesting point. Should those directed by and starring questions be omitted in Inner Geekdom? I've never thought of that, but
Yeah.
Inner Geekdom, you know, it's not just about the. I mean, it's just about the lore and the mythology
Right.
of these films, not so
Right.
much the who, what, when, where of the behind the scenes. I would like to throw that actually to our audience. Weigh in on that. Do you think in Inner Geekdom, in the comments below, do you think in Inner Geekdom they should ask questions about actors' actual names, directed by, produced by, any of that stuff? Do you think that should be in Inner Geekdom? I'd be interested to see what people say about that, Frank.
Yeah, because I think that's where like 2 questions because Keaton's playing in Inner Geekdom. If these were singles or team match questions, those are completely valid questions. But she's not playing in those leagues, and you go to Inner Geekdom because you're geeky about, like you said, the lore and this stuff. Whereas you're not necessarily up on who portrayed what character in your favorite universe or what movie, what have you. So they got 2 of those questions in the first round, I believe. So it wasn't the Superman question, something like that. It was like 2 questions, but I thought it was a bit odd. We got 2 of those questions, but it is what it is.
Hey, we'll throw it to the fans now. Frank Janisch, is there anything else you would like to say about this match before we move on?
I think Adam really showed that when he has an opportunity to knock someone out, to take that shot, you saw him really work through some of these questions to get a 2.0 or even the multiple choice question. You saw him really work through it to try and end it and trying to get that little tick next to his name, the KO. By the way, this is the 10th. Last match was the 9th. This is the 10th match in a row to end in a TKO or a KO. Actually, the count here is, in this tournament alone, there has been 4 KOs and 6 TKOs.
Wow, that's an impressive stat. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know, once
crazy.
again, is it mismatches? Is what's going on? Is this all part of Kalinowski's plan? I don't know, but Frank Janisch, I do have to stop you there. Because there were a couple other matches that occurred this week, one of which was an exhibition match with Rachel Cushing, with John Roca, The Beast, William Bibiani, Mark Andreyko, and Sam Levine. That match, we're not going to talk about it here, but it's available on Patreon. So I'd highly suggest you go over to Patreon and do that tier. $10, do the $10 tier. What's the big deal?
$10
go over
tier
there and do it.
Get it right away, and then 2 weeks later, if you're still a member of the Patreon at a lower tier, you will see it 2 weeks later, no matter what. But if you don't want to wait 2 weeks, and $10 also, I believe, gets you the monthly Patreon match that was, I think, is the other match you want to talk about.
It's actually not, but the other match that is out this week is World's Finest versus the Shire Wolves, which is interesting. But this is the match that I wanted to talk about, and this is where I want to bring in, okay, hold on, Cristofo Rapilio Bisquete Clark. I want to bring him in right now. I want him to talk about the Schmoedown. Discuss the Schmoedown for people who don't know, Chris. I just want you to plug it here at the end of the show.
Yeah, just essentially, it's the biggest inception that is on SK Plus. It's literally a Schmoedown match that is just about the actual Schmoedown itself, between the years of the AfterBuzz era all the way to current present day. We just recently had a match that we streamed, I think, last night, where it was Abe Flores versus Linus Babcock, the originator of the Rundown Boys hashtag. It was hosted by William Bibiani and Aaron Turner, the former host and the creator of the Schmoedown Rundown, a friend to all of us on here on the panel.
That job, bro.
Exactly. So make sure you check that out. It was for a good cause. We actually released it a month early for you guys. It was all dedicated to John Schnepp. So make sure to check that out if you have missed it. Our next match will be Frank Janisch versus Chris Skaliski. And yeah, just if you want to be involved in that, just I have a post in the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Facebook page. Just write your name down, and I will be live taking names from a hat for each. 4-way, so make sure you guys check that out. It's exciting. Kristen loved it. Everybody seems to really enjoy it, and we're going to do more in the future. So I'm really proud of how it came out. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, it was a success.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I got to check it out. Linus Babcock, which is, also me. We share the name. We share the same name, Linus Babcock. Shout out to Linus and to Abe for that match. And also, this Frank Janisch versus Chris Skaliski match, I do believe there's going to be some special commentators for it, right, Chris?
Yes, it's going to be you, Brad, and a mystery commentator that I will reveal after we obviously record it, just so I don't get you guys' hopes up just due to availability. But we will be a Schmoedown competitor. I do not want to reveal it just now, but it is going to be epic. And you're going to see Brad shit talk Frank the entire time, and it'll be a blast.
Janisch, brother.
I think what's going to happen is Brad's going to learn something that night. Is what's going to happen.
Hey, man, I might finally learn something about this damn show.
I watched that match between Abe and Linus. It was a good competition. I will say, I did score myself as I was watching. I was playing along, sure. And let me just say, Linus better watch his fucking mouth.
Whoa! He is a minor Janisch.
I don't care.
How dare you?
He wants to talk like that. Well, he's gonna get treated like that.
Hey man, don't let that bulldog mouth overload that puppy dog ass, Linus. That's all we're saying over there. Just watch your back, brother. But I think that's as good of a note as any to end on. Frank Janisch, why don't you let the people know where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at FrankieJ29. And I haven't updated the stats site in a little bit. Been a little busy, but it should be updated fairly soon at sites.google.com/views/schmoedown-info. I think.
Woo! I love it. Christopher Ropilio Bisquete Clark. Let people know where they can find you.
You almost got that correct. You can find me at Chris Clark at 8. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Clark 8788. Those numbers mean nothing. You can also find me on YouTube at Take 3 Productions.
Hey, just type in Schmoedown Rundown on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We'll pop up, and I am Brad Gilmore on all social media. For Chris Clark, for Frank Janisch, and the world champion Houston Astros, this is Brad Gilmore, and we will see you all next week.